And we'll ask everyone to please pause for a moment of silent meditation. Thank you very much. I'll call upon Councilman Patoka, who can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. A pledge of allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of April the 4th?
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 The journal is approved. Enrollment of bills. Bills 15-22, 16-22, and 17-22 were passed by the council, signed by the executive, and hereby enrolled. Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction this evening?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. There are a number of bills for introduction tonight. Bill 26-22, sponsored by Council members Marks and Jones, Metropolitan District Review of User Charges. Bill 27-22, Current Expense Budget, MTA, Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act. And then there's a whole cadre of budget bills. Bill 2822, Special Assessments Tax, or no, that's not this one. Bill 2822 is Special Assessments Tax Credit. That's also introduction. Now is all the budget bills. Bill 2922 is the Annual Budget and Appropriation Ordinance of Baltimore County. Bill 30-22, Property Tax. Bill 31-22, Personnel Law of Baltimore County. Bill 3222, Agricultural and Land Preservation Borrowing Ordinance. Bill 3322, Community College Borrowing Ordinance. Bill 3422, Community Improvement Project Borrowing Ordinance. Bill 35-22, Operational Buildings Borrowing Ordinance. Bill 3622, Parks, Preservation and Greenways Borrowing Ordinance. Bill 3722, Public Works Borrowing Ordinance. Bill 3822, Refuse Disposal Borrowing Ordinance. Bill 3922, School Borrowing Ordinance. And finally, Bill 4022, Waterway Improvement Program Borrowing Ordinance. Again, all for introduction this evening.
Thank you. The council will now consider all bills for final reading and vote. Mr. Secretary, first bill, please.
Bill 14-22, Abatement of Public Nuisances.
Chief Hyatt.
Well, good evening, everyone. First of all, just I really want to thank you all, Chairman Jones and members of the council, for your time tonight. I'm here tonight on behalf of the administration to present Council Bill 1422, which would make updates to Baltimore County's existing statute related to the abatement of public nuisances. And as previously referenced, the current statute allows for the chief of police to order the discontinuance of a public nuisance on the affected premises or the closing of the premises to the extent necessary to abate the public nuisance. But the statute as it currently stands is not usable for addressing the issues that we're currently confronting in Baltimore County. We really appreciate the robust discussion that's occurred on this bill, and I'd like to give another thank you to the county councilor for the extended time frame that you've allowed so that we could continue to work through additional changes in this legislation. We particularly appreciate the constructive dialogue that we've had with businesses and community leaders across Baltimore County. We believe that the amendments that we've put forward will result in legislation that provides the police department with a crucial tool to make our community safer, while also giving significant and appropriate consideration to due process for business owners. Colonel Conger did a detailed walkthrough of the proposed changes at last week's work session, and I will spare the council a full repeat of those changes, but I'm happy to address any details that would be helpful in the council's deliberations. As council members Marks and Quirk both noted at the work session, this bill is meant to address concerns that we're hearing directly from community members. Residents are looking to their local government for community safety and security, but at this time, there are still a handful of troubling locations where we've simply run out of options based on what exists in the current statute. Again, we appreciate your consideration of Bill 14-22 with the proposed amendments, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any questions or comments from the member?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Councilman Marks.
thank you. I've been among the biggest supporters of this bill, and I want to thank the police chief and the administration for their hard work on it. I think we probably need another 2 weeks to get this bill to a point where it can get a 7-0 vote, hopefully. I don't want us to pass a bill tonight that is amended at the last minute. And for that reason, I'd like to motion that we extend the life of this bill by 2 more weeks.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Councilman Cap.
yes, thank you very much. There are a few specific areas that I think still need to be worked out. So I second this motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to extend the bill life for another 2 weeks. Are there any questions or discussion on the motion which has been made and second? Councilwoman Bevin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to say that after a lot of discussion with my colleagues, I agree this is probably the best thing to do. I think we owe it to the communities to take our time and make sure that it's right. And we also owe it to those businesses that we have something that will be able to be enforced and will satisfy both community and business.
Well, thank you, Councilwoman Bevins. Any other discussion? I will just add that clearly we want to make sure that we have the tools to that are requested by the police in terms of abating public nuisances. And at the same time, we want to make sure we get it right in the sense that we don't get anybody caught up and have them, be detrimental to their business because we didn't take enough time to get it right. So the motion and a second, and there's no more discussion. I'll call the vote.
Chair, just one comment. I agree with you. This is Councilman Patoka here. I agree with you and my colleagues that we want to ensure that there's no, as we move forward with this, that there's no collateral damage to businesses that are trying to make a living, especially as rough as it's been over the past few years, and that we get it right. And so I think a little bit of time, a little bit more time to review this, to get it right, to avoid any collateral damage to businesses is the right path for the council.
Okay, any more questions or discussion? Mr. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk.
Ayes have it. Bill 14-22 has been extended for another 2 weeks. Mr. Secretary, next item, please. Yep.
Secretary, real quick, could you give us the dates then on that work session and the night of the vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. The work session, the bill has been extended to the next meeting, which is Monday, May the 2nd. It'll be included on the agenda for the work session to be held on April the 26th, which is a Tuesday at 4 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 18-22, Current Expense Budget, Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention and Environmental Case Management Program.
Okay, give me 1 second. We do have Mr. Richardson.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Richardson.
Good evening, Chairman Jones, members of the council. The administration is requesting a supplemental appropriation amount of $95,586 for our lead poisoning prevention and environmental case management program. The Maryland State Department of Health has approved the expansion of utilizing funds to increase case management for children with elevated blood lead levels and moderate to severe asthma. The additional funds will be used to pay the salary costs for one public health nurse supervisor and 2 community health workers and durable equipment for children and families. The goal of this program is to reduce the impact of lead poisoning and asthma in low-income children. In order to better achieve the program's goal, the program is looking to utilize these funds to provide enhanced services to clients by increasing collaboration between providers and the program in an effort to enroll more clients. And I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Any questions or comments from the members? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
I'm sorry, aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Bill 18-22 has been passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Bill 19-22, sponsored by Councilman Crandall, zoning regulations, fuel service stations.
Councilman Crandall?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I stated in the work session, this is a very simple bill and type of bill that we look at all the time. This particular bill would authorize the building of a gas station convenience store at the East Point Mall property, which many of you are familiar with, and I would appreciate my colleagues' support on the bill. It's an economic development matter, and I think it's going to be good for the future of that property. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman Bevin?
I'm just curious, Councilman Crandall, just because I'm so familiar with the property, where will this gas station convenience store be located on the property?
The proposed area on the property would be along Eastern Avenue, where the former pad site, so this will be a pad site, obviously, project, where the I guess it was the Chinese buffet or the hibachi place that is the sort of, I guess, I don't know what the issues were, but didn't make it through COVID or whatever, but so it would be that frontage of North Point, I'm sorry, Eastern Avenue, between the Chick-fil-A and the strip center where the Staples is,
okay.
and where is it Checkers there? So in between Chick-fil-A and Checkers.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any additional questions or comments? I guess I'd like to thank you, Councilman Crandall, for your hard work. And, you know, we all go through these issues where we're trying to find the right balance to help renovate and rejuvenate our older shopping centers and older communities. So I thank you for your efforts there. I know you've been working on it. There's been no other questions or comments. I'll ask Mr. Secretary to please call the roll.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk. Mr. Quirk.
Aye. Aye. Can you?
Yes. The ayes have it. Bill 19-22 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 20-22, sponsored by Council Members Jones and Patoka, Board of Appeals Compensation.
Thank you. We've had extensive testimony on this. This is basically our appreciation to the members of the Board of Appeals. They worked extremely hard. This was not done without tremendous research and justification, to which members of the Board of Appeal, particularly this document, gave us. and it demonstrated the amount of work and effort they put into it. And so we're going to raise their compensation just a little bit, try to make it a little better for them, and let them know that we appreciate their hard work and dedication. Councilman Patoka.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to add a comment that over the past few months, we, the council, have had an opportunity to engage with and interact with some of our Board of Appeal members. And I think we would all agree that we're really lucky to have such a high skill set and high level of talent with our Board of Appeal members. I'm particularly proud of the 2nd District member of the Board of Appeals, Ms. Deborah Dobkin, but I think that we're lucky all of the members that have come before us are so incredibly talented that it's really a benefit to the county. And I think that I'm really pleased that the council is seeing fit, hopefully with our vote in just a few moments, to have some level of compensation. I still think the level of compensation is we're getting a huge bang for the buck in terms of the quality of attorneys that serve on the Board of Appeals, and for what we're the stipend that we provide is still not where it should be, but where it's a graph going in the right direction. So thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Ms. Dobkin, and to all of your colleagues that serve on the Board of Appeals.
Ms. Dobkin, would you like to make a comment while you're here?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and Councilman Patoka, for your kind words. I just want to thank you for your support of the Board of Appeals and its members. This bill is a meaningful acknowledgement to each of us of your recognizing the hours of service we try to provide to the county, and it's a big morale booster. I think in the future, it will also make it much easier for each of you to find qualified members to appoint, since any practicing attorney who serves has been doing so at something of a hardship to their personal practices. And this will make a big difference to those individuals and increase the pool of people who will be able to serve going forward. So I thank you all, and Mr. Bostwick as well. We really value the relationship you've created with the board through this process.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hopkins. Any comments from the members before we close?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilman Katz.
Yes, I would like to, I'm sure most of us or all of us have read some of the decisions coming from the Board of Appeals. And there's no doubt there's an awful lot of work that goes into these decisions. And the people on the board have tremendous experience. And we want to continue to attract the very best to serve on this very important group. So I wholeheartedly agree with this bill, and hopefully in the future we'll keep having the salaries closer to where they need to be for us to continue to be successful. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Katz.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilman Crandon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just echoing on the comments that have been made, I was able to speak with my own appointee to the Board of Appeals, Mr. Pennington, over the weekend. And you know, one of the things that the board, I think, is facing right now, and maybe Ms. Dobkin can concur, there is a backlog of cases. And the board is handling those as best as they can, but they are a dedicated very deliberative body. They aren't subject, although they're very much like us on the county council in that they are handling complicated issues and have to make very tough decisions. And they do a tremendous amount of research in order to come to one of those decisions. And Councilman Katz hit it right on. If you read any of those opinions, these are not things that they come up with willy-nilly. There's an extreme amount of due diligence that is applied to the decisions that they make. I think the only difference is that they're not subject to the machinations of the lobbies on either side of an issue that we really are. So I'm in support of this bill. I think the board is exemplary, and I know that the amount of time that my appointees over the last 8 years have put in, they are they're just simply not compensated enough for the amount of effort and time that they put in. So I'm in support of the bill. So I just wanted to state that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Crandall. Yes, Councilman Marks?
Yeah, thank you. I've said this so many times, it sounds like a broken clock, but and my father was on the board for about 10 years. He was chairman. He wrote a number of cases, including dealing with the Owella Mill, with a snake farm in the northern part of the county. He served the county very well. He's in the final days of his life. And I think that serving on this board was one of the highlights of his public service. This is a tremendously difficult job. It's probably the toughest job for an appointee that we have. And all of those who have served in this capacity should be commended. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Marks.
David, thank you for your father's service to Baltimore County, and I know you're going through a difficult time, and our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family.
Well, thank you, and it just seemed like an appropriate thing to say, and
Sure.
Thanks for letting me say that.
Thank you. Without further ado, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 20-22.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Katch,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka.
Aye.
Guys have it, Bill 20-22 is passed. Congratulations, Ms. Dawkins, and all the other members of the Board of Appeal. Sure.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. You're very deserving. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 21-22. This bill is sponsored by Councilwoman Bevins, entitled Zoning Regulations, Uses Permitted in the ML Zone.
Councilwoman
Thank you.
Bevins.
Mr. Secretary, would you mind going over some of the technical things for me first?
Certainly, Mrs. Bevins. Bill 21-22 amends the circumstances under which residential uses are permitted on certain properties in the ML zone. Residential uses are not a traditional use in the ML zone. Obviously, it's a manufacturing zone. However, a few years ago in Bill 66-17, the council did allow residential uses to some extent in the zone, and it created a paragraph for residential uses with certain conditions. What this bill does is it just adds another condition to residential uses in the zone, and it specifically limits it. Well, the law, the regulation already regulates it to within 525 feet of the business major commercial town center core, or BMCT district of White Marsh. And this bill modifies that requirement by, in a sense, extending it another 75 feet to allow a development tract in accordance with that zoning regulation 253.1.I to also allow residential uses. It also, if I may, allows the combined tracts under that paragraph to occupy 11% instead of 6%.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Most of you are familiar with the White Marsh area and where the White Marsh Mall is situated, the Avenue and Campbell Boulevard. And for me, you know, since being in office since 2010, this has really been an economic hub, retail hub for me, for restaurants and retail shops. And in the midst of all that is actually one of our Baltimore County libraries that sits right in the middle of all that. So we now have, just due to what's happening, not just in our nation, but all over the world, and maybe due to the pandemic, I have more and more warehouse space, flex, office space that is empty, not being used. And there was two very large buildings right across the street from the already existing Avenue Grand, which is luxury apartments that were finished last year. And that project was so successful in bringing more foot traffic to the mall, the Avenue and Campbell Boulevard. It's so walkable now. It's what the millennials and all the folks like downtown, you know, you park your car and then you walk everywhere, and that's what's happening over there. So now they had an opportunity to buy up some of this land that's got empty buildings on it, and they're going to put a phase 2 of the Avenue there. So folks are pretty happy about it. It's been a boost for the Avenue, and we're really hoping that this is going to be a game changer for the mall and for something hopefully to change over the next few years with the mall. As we all know, after I retire in December, this will go back into the 5th District, and which will be under Councilman Marks. And I don't know if he wants to say anything about it or not, but he was brought into the conversations for that reason as well.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Bevins, and I'm certainly very much looking forward to representing the White Marsh Town Center. As we've discussed, you know, the White Marsh area needs to be reimagined. It's showing some wear and tear. It needs to go the way of the Hunt Valley Town Center, other places that have just been re-engineered. So I think this is a very useful piece of legislation. The other thing I'll point out is this is compatible with smart growth.
Yeah.
If we are going to be preserving the northern part of Baltimore County, we have got to be revitalizing our older neighborhoods, older communities. So, you know, I think this is certainly compatible with that philosophy, and I'm happy to support this bill.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Marks, Councilwoman Bevins. Of course, just like I said with Councilman Crandall, we deal with these complex issues in an attempt to keep Baltimore County fresh and deal with these older areas, and continue to provide the growth that's necessary and the spark that's necessary for the communities around it to continue to want to shop and live and play here in Baltimore County. So that's important. Are any additional questions or comments? Again, congratulations, Councilwoman Bevins. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll on Bill 21-22?
Yes, sir. Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Catch.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Bill 21-22 is passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bevins. I'm sorry.
No, I just want to say thank you for your support. Appreciate it.
More than welcome. The council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on April the 12th. The witnesses who testified at the work session is available to restate their testimony if needed. I'll now call upon the secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matter 1.
Mr. Chairman, fiscal matter 1 is the first amendment to a contract with Northeast Maryland Waste Disposal Authority. This implementation 5-year solid waste task force / bulk trash program through the Department of Public Works and Transportation.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve fiscal matter 1?
So moved.
Is there a second? Been moved and seconded. The secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matter 1.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Fiscal matter 1 is approved. We'll now consider miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Chair, can I jump in after fiscal matters? I have
Yep.
something to say.
Yeah.
There was a press conference earlier today where the county executive and I and representatives of the 6th Legislative District, Delegate Long, Delegate Metzger, Senator Salling representing Secretary of Agriculture, Mr. Bardenfelder, announcing the midge fly treatment program. And of all the thanks that went around in this press conference, one of the things that I neglected to do and was not mentioned was the council's support of the contract to make this thing happen. So I just wanted to rectify that and thank my colleagues on the council for approving that contract. The helicopter has flown. We are more than hopeful that this will abate the nuisance of the midge fly, which is a huge issue on Back River. If you haven't experienced it, you don't know how bad it is, and it's really, really bad. So, so everyone was thanked except for you all for doing your part in making this partnership between the state and Baltimore County happen. So I just again wanted to rectify that and thank you all for your support on that contract in the last legislative session. Thank you very much.
Well, you're more than welcome.
Randall, I think that we should thank the chairman. He came a long way between the work session and the council meeting on talking about this bill. And maybe you'd like to say it one more time, Mr. Chairman. I don't know. We're going to conquer the what?
We're going to conquer the midges.
Midges.
Midges. We're going to conquer the midges. We have our Air Force in the air. We have them by land, sea, and air, and we're going to conquer the midges.
I should have left that one alone. I'm sorry.
Councilwoman Bevins, you're something else.
Mr. Chair, in the future, don't even bother trying to pronounce it. Just vote yes, okay? You don't need to pronounce it in order to do the right thing.
Normally I don't have a hard time with words, but midges has been difficult for me. And I don't know why, but midges. Difficult.
Them bugs.
Battle will be with the no-see-ums.
Them bugs.
Well, and we kind of make light of this, but Councilman Patoka, these are not no-see-ums. You can definitely see them, especially when they fly in your ears, in your eyes, and in your mouth when you're just trying to walk around your property if you live along Back River or areas clear to that. So we're making light of it, but it is a very serious issue, and it's a very important thing that I've worked a long time on along with other people. So I just wanted to again express my gratitude that the council saw where this was important and an important contract to pass. So I don't want to belabor it, Mr. Chair, but just want to get the point across.
Well, listen, I appreciate it very much. And, you know, another thing that's very important that we never forget, and I know that the people here on this call don't forget, but sometimes folks in the public, to be quite frank, forget the power of government and how we as a government come together to fix problems and make life better for the citizens of Baltimore County, regardless of what the issues are. We all are affected by so many issues, but here's an example of, you know, weeks ago, I had no idea what a midge is or what a midge is, but Councilman Crandall, you brought it to our attention. You educated us. You showed us the problems, the stains, the nuisance, and we came together to do something about it. And that's the kind of thing that makes me so proud to be a member of this body, is that we do what's necessary to make life better for all the citizens of Baltimore County. And, you know, so many times people don't get it, but we do. Whether it be something very serious like COVID, or something just as serious to people in your part of the county as Mitch's. So, any additional comments? Thank you. And we'll move on to miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
Mr. Chairman, whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by a process other than formal competitive bid, it is required that a copy of the contract be given to the county council and the nature and parties to the contract be announced by the secretary at the next legislative session following award. There are 5 such contracts this evening. The first is a purchase order with Vector Media Holding Corporation. This is for the purchase of public transportation and bus shelter advertising for the Core 4 recycling promotion through solid waste, $65,100. Next is a master agreement with Carter Machinery Company Incorporated. This is for the purchase of Caterpillar parts and labor through Carter Machinery. It is a sole source for Caterpillar equipment. They are the sole source for Caterpillar equipment, parts, and service in the state. Award total of $2,500,000. Third is a purchase order with Miller Flooring Company. This is an emergency repair to the rubber flooring of the walking track at the Randallstown Community Center. Award total $434,000. Fourth is a purchase order with the Baltimore Sun, similar to the first contract. This is a purchase of newspaper advertising for Core 4 recycling promotion through solid waste, $74,310. And the final agreement is a purchase order with Geiger Pump and Equipment Company. This is for the purchase of a replacement grinder for Price's Cove Pump Station, award total of $28,782. And that is all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Mr. Secretary, next item.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 15-22. This is a resolution for the council to approve the ranking of 5 rural legacy area plan applications.
Okay, would you like to read that is it? Any additional information on the 5 rural legacy areas?
I think Mr. Lafferty is here to discuss that.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. The administration requests approval of Council Resolution 15-22, which would approve and prioritize 5 rural legacy areas as part of our application to the state's Maryland Rural Legacy Program. During the work session, I went through the 5 applications, and the rankings are Piney Run Watershed Rural Legacy Area, Manor Rural Legacy Area, the Long Green Land Trust Rural Legacy Area, Baltimore County's Coastal Rural Legacy Area, excuse me, and Gunpowder Rural Legacy Area. This is important. We have to do this annually because we have more than one, which is required by the state. And if you have further detailed questions, Megan Benjamin from our office is here to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Lafferty. Any comments from the members? Is there a motion to approve Resolution 15-22?
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Second? Been moved and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 15-22.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution 15-22 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 16-22. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Crandall and is a resolution to approve the partial property tax exemption and refund to Mr. Arthur Sadlow, who, as a blind person, is entitled to a partial refund under state law.
I move the resolution.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 16-22.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution 16-22 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 17-22. This is a resolution to authorize the county to accept a donation of 4 BMW electric bicycles from BMW of North America LLC for introduction only this evening.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
can I ask our secretary to add me as a co-sponsor to that resolution, please?
Certainly, sir.
Thank you.
I agree. Say, Councilman Crandall, I had dibs.
You did, and you are still the main sponsor by request, so you're okay.
Now I'm talking about on the bikes.
Oh, no, you take that up with the Dundalk Precinct Commander.
Okay. Is there any further business to come before the council tonight?
There is no further business, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. And as is customary, anyone who has registered to speak online prior to the meeting is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Ms. Belcastro or Mr. Secretary, is there anyone signed up to speak this evening?
No, Mr. Chair, there has no one registered to speak this evening.
Fantastic. One of the things I'm very proud of our legislative body, that we give people an opportunity to come and speak on any subject they like, and we treat them very kind and courteously and let them say whatever they want to say to us. So thank you very much, everyone. Be safe, and we will see everyone next week. God bless you. Thank you.
Have a good week.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, council members.
Bye, everybody.
See you later.
Deborah.